Must've been a heck of a halftime speech.
He was one of my better ones. I thought really good defensively. It could have been better in the first half. I think they had three really difficult possessions in the first half where we didn't finish the possession. They actually scored on it. And it really, to go down to one stat that I think is the big stat in the game is the fact they had 13 offensive rebounds. They out-rebounded us, and that happened. They're going to, again, I think you got to give them total credit in the second half. They saw that whatever they saw, they took advantage of it because they got going, momentum turned around, and they outplayed us totally in the second half. I mean, how do you go from, and again, we know they're capable of scoring points. We know that the chance is, and Robertson, I really like those two guys. They play a lot of minutes. And when you get down some, I mean, the game changes for them too. They know that they just got to go start taking some shots and see it, and it starts going in, and we come down and we're not very good. We don't execute, and it becomes a game. And you got to give them credit for doing that. They showed heart to do that, and we're not so good, believe me, that we can think that we can get a big lead and think the game's over. We ought to know that by now. But I think you got to give them all the credit for them closing and making the game out of it. Lamonte's shot was a big one at the time. But it's an SEC win, and in this league, I've said before, Vanderbilt's not an easy out for anybody. We know that, and we should know it anyway. So but we got the win. I'm just disappointed in the second half, and disappointed in the fact that. But again, I'm saying that not to take anything away from Vanderbilt because they deserve what they did in the second half to come back and put themselves in a position they can win.
Vincent, Brandon, John.
Coach, what kind of defensive looks did you give Rather the chance, especially there in the second half?
Well, again, we were switching some early. I didn't think our post guys, Grant in particular, did a great job. He had his hands down, kept backing up too much. And Riley made a couple tough shots too now, and you got to give him credit for that. But there's no way he should be able to get by us in that situation. And then Lamonte, I thought, really did a good job away from him, making it hard for him to catch the ball at the end. And Lamonte wanted to guard him. And again, we got him taking some tough shots, but we didn't finish it. And I mean, you look at it, they ended up scoring 32 points in the paint, and I guarantee that they came off those offensive rebounds or drives where we felt coming into the game, the biggest thing they would want to attack us with is downhill drives. And we were lucky in the first half, actually, that they missed some threes because they had some pretty good looks at it. And but the way we guarded them over there, we were giving them too much of an angle, and so we felt they would come in and try to get downhill with it. And again, it's the way games go sometimes. You get up, you want to stretch it out, and then have to give them credit.
Could you sense any coasting or letting off the gas by your guys once it got to 20 and Vandy wasn't hitting shots?
Well, I think that can happen. I think that can happen whether it's you visibly see it or you don't. I mean, you go back to the game there. The first half we were not as good as we were in the second half. Here we were better, but they also make you do that. I mean, they made some shots, and they were getting us in the ball screens. They didn't do one thing that we didn't think they would do, and it's a matter of us guarding it. And I just didn't think that they were making her push back either. I mean, we'll look at it. I mean, they scored 62 points, and total different game than South Carolina. And the fact that South Carolina, they're out there pressuring you, make you dribble the ball. Today we started the game, I didn't think very good offensively, because they were sagged back in there. They were determined they weren't going to let Grant Williams have a lot of space, which we knew that. And but we held the ball too much. We didn't get enough player and ball movement to start with. Then we got our defense, got us out in transition and going. When they were making the push to get back in it, they were very aggressive off their defense or our misses, and we were just walking it up almost like we wanted to come down and play a half-court game, and that's not when we're at our best.
Rick, a lot of times you see in this league this year where teams get an early lead, lose it, and never regain the momentum and lose the game. You credit your team maybe with kind of summoning its resources late in the game and coming back and winning?
Well, that would be a positive. We allowed them to, again, I don't want to say we allowed them. They got back in the game, but at the end we found a way to, Lamonte Turner's shot was a big one. And again, you guys have known over the past couple of years, those are games that we did let get away. We've done this before, where we've had leads and other teams come back and take the lead, but we have also this year found a way to hang on and get it done, whether you hang on or whatever you do. You can't have a junior like Admiral Schofield, get a technical foul, regardless of what it is, and that be his fifth foul. And those type things, we got to be more mature than that. But otherwise, last couple of minutes, I thought that we knew what we were going to do: get the ball to Grant, put fouls on him, and play through him. And then I think Admiral made the drive and kick out, and DeMonte finally made a shot, which was a big one for us.
You got a lot from Jordan Bowden after some not so great games. How big was this for him? It seemed like he looked really relieved, especially after the first three went down.
Well, we like it when he's aggressive. We talk about it, but I've always said he's got to do that within himself. And his free throw shooting the last two games has been atrocious, and he's better than that. And our guard play tonight, if you look at it, we were 22 for 32 from the free throw line. But if you look at our guards, they were 2 for 7, 0 for 1, which is really 0 for 2. That makes us 2 for 9. And is that right? So we were 2 for 9 from our guard position at the free throw line tonight, really. And those guys have to be better than that.
Rick, you guys won 5 of 6 in the league now. You're kind of near the midway point of the conference play. I mean, what have you learned about your team over these last few weeks, and what do you want to see them improve on as we hit the second half of the season?
What I've learned from us is that we're very inconsistent, and that's what we're talking about. That's what I said to him after the game. That's the biggest disappointment. I mean, but I kind of what I said after the game against South Carolina, we played a terrific defensive game against Purdue, which was our third game of the year, second, third game, somewhere in there, whatever it was. We haven't played that complete of a defensive game until Saturday at South Carolina. And now you'd like to think coming out of that game, that now we understand that we're going to be the team that's going to play every possession like that. We came back in the first half, I'd say it's pretty good. I think but the second half, we weren't. So what I've learned is, who are we going to be? We're going to be a team that's going to really hang our identity on the defensive end. We're going to play every single possession to the best of our ability, and you can't do that if you don't block out and finish the possession. I also know that we're a team that we've shown some grit. That like tonight, we found a way after squandering a big lead and find a way to win the game, which we didn't do those things last year. But the word I want to see is consistency. What are we going to get? And we're talking more of a mindset probably as much as anything. Now we get out of here. We got a tough game Saturday against Iowa State, and we'll see if we can get back and get better. We need some. This is also, I think, our fourth game in 10 days, and I think a little bit of our fundamentals have slipped because we haven't had a chance to have really a quality practice. This is our third game in a week, because the whole deal was trying to navigate getting through this with guys that were playing minutes, and I didn't think we got the same energy. I thought Derek Walker was terrific again tonight. I think 2 games in a row now. I hope he can keep building on that. But we got to keep our bench giving it to us.
Ron, and finish up with the last.
Coach, you touched on the mindset, the grit. That's what I wanted to ask you about. I mean, it didn't work. It didn't turn into a win at Missouri. The defensively blocked them down. They just having a shot last 6 weeks. South Carolina finished 1-11, and then you play like you did tonight. Do you think your guys are developing that kind of mindset that you need to win games just with defense?
Well, we need last 4 minutes. It's imperative if you're going to win games like this. You've got to be able to stop a team 3 times in a row. If you really want to, or get stops, whether it's 3, 4, 5. You can't be stop, score, and that's something that we harped on. We've talked about it. And we're going to keep talking about it. But the thing that is a big concern is we have 13 offensive rebounds. I mean, Grant Williams has 3 rebounds. And Admiral had 6 and 27, but Howell had 5 and 19. Grant's got to rebound the ball more. And I know we're asking him to do a lot, but he still has to rebound the basketball. And but we gave up 13 of them tonight, and you got to give them credit because they went and got it.
Rick, what kind of, I guess, does it say about Lamonte's mindset that he had not really had a big offensive game, and he'd obviously been expending a lot of energy on trying to guard the chance, and that he wanted to take that shot and that he hit it?
Well, I do. I think it's a deal where a kid's trying to reinvent himself as a player. I mean, we know that Lamonte can score the ball, but scores, sometimes they have it, sometimes they don't. And But the fact is, I mean, he is light years from where he started. I mean, he would have never, ever said, hey, let me guard that guy. I think it goes back to he's got a competitive streak in him, and he knew that was, they were playing through rather than the chance, and he knew that he was going to have to try to get him to play, and I thought Lamonte did. I thought he really tried to play hard on the defensive end, and then he knocked down a big shot, which is good for him, because when you work that hard on the defensive end, you want to see something happen to a guy that in the past all he wanted to do was score. But he shows, again, we look at him as a coaching staff, and we really do think he's a competitive player.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Coach.